More has been invented in the past 100 years than any similar period of time in the course of human history. We are living in an unbelievable era. But I don't think it's hubris to say that one of the most important inventions in history happened during my lifetime. And unless you're one of the 1.5% watching this video under the age of 18, your lifetime too. And that is, of course, the modern smartphone. It is an engineering marvel that doesn't just connect us with other people, but opens up a portal to the entirety of human knowledge, and also a fire hose of digital crap pouring garbage into our brains 24/7. The constant buzzing, the endless notifications, the pressure to always be online, it's left me, and probably you, feeling a little bit drained. We spend hours glued to these things daily, checking them hundreds of times, literally every 4 minutes on average. We are addicted, certainly by self-diagnosis, if not by clinical standards. Phones, they mess with our sleep, they jack up our anxiety, they tank our focus, but the reason we keep them around is what? There's gotta be a reason, right? Well, yeah, I mean, they've replaced a ton of expensive, heavy crap like cameras and calendars and planners, communication devices, books, laptops, and more into a single, relatively affordable device. By and large, these are incredible, and we like them. And while it may be idealistic to yearn for a time before when everybody walked with their heads held high, for most of us, the goal isn't to completely abandon our smartphones, it's just to find a healthier relationship with them. And that's where this growing market of minimalist phones comes in, promising a simpler digital life. But here's the real question. Are these alternatives actually solving our problem, or are they just adding to our growing pile of unneeded gadgets? It's a fair question. Finding tools that genuinely help cut through the digital noise without just adding more stuff is tough. And honestly, while physical gadgets get a lot of attention, managing the digital chaos behind the scenes here at Snazzy Labs is its own beast. And that's where today's sponsor, Notion, comes in. We genuinely use Notion every single day. It is the backbone for how we manage basically everything at Snazzy Labs. Tracking video projects from idea to upload, coordinating with sponsors, managing team tasks, even handling stuff like PTO requests. It is our central hub that keeps the complex mess of running this channel somewhat organized. But where Notion has really gotten interesting lately is with Notion AI, which is built right into the workspace. Think of it like an assistant that helps cut through the fire hose we were talking about previously. Need to quickly understand some dense research papers? Well, AI can summarize it in just a few seconds using GPT-4 or Cloud. Need to reference something from Google Drive or Slack? Notion AI can find it. My favorite, though, is the Q&A feature, which turns your Notion workspace into a personal knowledge base that you can query, like a second brain. Just ask it questions about all the stuff you've dumped into it, and it finds the answer, even if it's buried deep in pages. Like, when was the last time we worked with this client? Or what was that third-party Vision Pro strap I liked? You'll get the answer. This saves us from endless searching and actually helps us focus, because it's not about replacing thinking, rather augmenting it, handling the tedious bits so that we can focus on what's important to us. If you want to get your own digital life organized, whether you're part of a team or just one bloke, check out Notion and Notion AI using the link in the video description. Anyways, back to these minimalist phones. I bought one such device about a year ago, the Bigme Highbreak. It is a color e-ink smartphone running the 5-year-old Android 11. And save for the obviously unique display, it doesn't really feel that much different than the average budget smartphone. It's got a front and rear camera, an earpiece, there's a microphone, you don't get a speaker, which is kind of weird, and of course there's an array of buttons. Really, the only thing, frankly, notable about this slab of e-waste is the high refresh color e-ink panel. And as you might suspect, well, it's great for reading books and articles, but pretty awful at scrolling Instagram or watching YouTube, even though technically, yeah, it is capable of that. It's got a very fatiguing and sickly hued blue front light, not great for indoors, but when you've got decent ambient light from the sun, especially outside in direct sunlight, well, this screen looks pretty freaking good. The thing is, can it really be considered minimal? Because it's just an Android smartphone. So everything you can do on a regular phone, including distract yourself, you can do on this thing, just worse. This category of minimal phone, including the literal minimal phone, does not entice me. Simplicity and focus, I feel, must come by subtraction, whether voluntary or forced. And that's where the Light Phone 3 comes in. A phone, and I quote, designed to give you the tools to flourish as the most thoughtful and intentional version of yourself. This device decides for you what it is that you need via bespoke, light phone exclusive apps only. Where's mine? Well, they didn't send me one, and I refuse to waste $600 on one because I'm confident I would hate it. You see, Becca Versace's fantastic video concluded that despite liking the idea, she still needed to carry her iPhone for a ton of stuff that the light phone just couldn't do, like order an Uber, respond to an urgent email, access a password manager, handle two-factor authentication, basic life admin stuff. And that is the core problem. Light can never keep up with the sheer breadth of essential services integrated into iOS and Android. You, the user, have to forfeit agency, which is the point, but you have to subscribe to their specific interpretation of minimalism. For example, their idea of a distraction-free life includes podcasts, but for me, podcasts can be a massive productivity killer. I find mindless tasks to chip away at just so I can keep listening to an episode that I'm vibing instead of focusing. Meanwhile, reading news via RSS on my iPhone, that's something that I find valuable and productive, but is also something that I can easily stop doing when I need to. Yep, that's not an option on the light phone and likely never will be because it doesn't fit their focus paradigm. So whose minimalism are we actually adopting? And is abandoning a smartphone, which like it or not has become an essential tool for navigating modern life, really a solution? It ties into this great discussion that happened on a recent Waveform podcast. Ellis articulated that you shouldn't feel ashamed or guilty for spending time on your phone. I mean, companies worth billions of dollars are actively designing algorithms to hijack your psychology to maximize your engagement. It's an uneven fight. But I also agree with Marquez's counterpoint.
If you are so distracted by your phone that you have to spend extra money for a worse phone, you lack discipline.
Buddy, you're the one in control. If you really want to stop scrolling Instagram, making it slightly harder on a dumb phone isn't going to stop you. You'll find another way. You'll grab a tablet, you'll borrow a friend's phone, you'll fire up a laptop. It's an idealistic but impractical, expensive half measure. I believe the real solution for most people is twofold. First, use purpose-built gadgets that excel at specific tasks in lieu of just defaulting to our phones. And second, restrict our phone's ability to distract us rather than replace it with a restricted phone. When Megan and I got married in 2020, Karen and Austin Evans sent us a rice maker as a wedding gift, and I'll be honest, it wasn't on our registry, and when it arrived, I questioned why it even existed. I mean, I can make rice in a pot or a pressure cooker, right? Why do I need a dedicated machine to cook rice, especially one that takes forever and plays this annoying Twinkle Twinkle Little Star tune when it's done? But after using it once or twice, I got it. This thing, it just cooks rice perfectly every single time. We don't have to do anything except add rice, water, and push go. Yeah, sure, it's kind of slow and it's big, and no, you can't machine wash the pot liner, but the one thing it does, make rice, it does better than every other appliance out there. These days, whenever I eat rice cooked another way, I can immediately tell. It's just not as tasty. It's worse. I love my rice maker. Thank you, Austin. I love you. So, what tasks are actually worth offloading to dedicated devices, you ask then, when it comes to technology? We're not talking about rice makers anymore. Well, let's take my nighttime routine. I've made two changes that have dramatically improved my sleep habits. First, I wind down with my Kobo Sage e-reader. Sure, I could read books on my phone or my iPad, but there's something distinctly better about using a dedicated e-reader. For one, e-ink is objectively less fatiguing for extended reading sessions and is viewable in all lighting scenarios. The battery on this thing lasts forever, and there are zero Twitter notifications popping up to derail my focus. It provides a truly superior, focused reading experience. The second change, and this sounds nuts, but hear me out, was switching to sleeping with a vintage Soviet alarm watch. Oh, what? These can be had for less than $50 on eBay, but by keeping my phone and, frankly, my Apple Watch across the room at night, close enough for emergency calls, but far enough away to break my doom-scrolling habit and notification distraction, well, I now just rely on this old-school watch's gentle but mechanical vibrations that wake me up without disturbing my wife and newborn. It's a perfect example of how sometimes the old and simple ways just work better than their smart counterparts. On the other hand, vinyl records. They're a worse experience than streaming. The sound quality isn't better. They require careful handling and maintenance. You have to flip them every 20 minutes to prevent damage, and you can't take them with you on the go. And yet, That's exactly what makes them special, what makes people love them, being forced to just sit down and do nothing but listen. It is an intentionally limiting experience, but it's one that makes music more meaningful. Now for you, a standalone camera, a paper journal, a desk calendar, a microtransaction-free game console, a dedicated audio player, whatever it may be, can be the distraction-free solution for you. And these devices, whether technically superior or not, enhance specific activities by being dedicated to them. But here's the thing. For every useful specialist gadget, there is an avalanche of what I like to call performative tech. Devices that exist primarily to solve problems that we don't actually have. I mean, take the Humane AI Pin, bought out by HP less than a year after this thing launched, leaving early adopters with an expensive paperweight that literally does nothing. Instead of trying to replace the smartphone with a bunch of half-baked alternatives, what we should do is take what we already have, that we're not going to get rid of, the smartphone, and just make it work better for us. And the good news is that all it takes is just a little bit more intentional setup. I resisted focus modes for a long time, mostly because I didn't want to take the time to set them up. But if you're doing focus modes right, in my opinion, and this is something I've learned, they really shouldn't take that much time to set up, because rather than creating an entirely new interface paradigm, you should just keep your phone familiar. Keep the same apps in the same location, unless there really is an app that you only need inside of one specific focus mode. What you should spend most of your time doing is deciding what apps should be allowed to notify you and what people should be able to break through. Spend most of your time setting up focus filters. You need to reduce distractions for the apps that you're going to use anyways. Don't remove iMessage from your home screen. Just cut out the group chat with the boys while you're at work. Get rid of that football schedule calendar when you're traveling. Remove your work email as the primary email when you're at home with the family. And set up automatic activation for your focus modes. Please, whether it be via geolocation or time of day, make them work for you. Don't spend time working on them. Notifications. This is the problem. They are a nightmare, and far too many apps abuse the system to, frankly, pull you in. Rather than spend hours scrolling through every app on your phone to determine whether or not notifications should be allowed or not, just wait to receive one. If you do and think, yeah, I never want this app to bug me again, don't let it pile up. Take 2 seconds to just swipe left, select options, and then turn it off. Never to be bothered by that application ever again. You should also enable notification summaries. They act like a holding pen, bundling non-urgent pings. Think social media, news alerts, random app updates, stuff that you want to see, but just not at that specific moment. Let apps deliver them in one batch when you choose to receive them, maybe morning or night. My general methodology is that unless you plan to immediately act upon a notification when you receive it, you shouldn't let it break through notification summaries. Again, spend a week and slowly filter out non-urgent notifications as they come in by swiping left, selecting options, and adding to summary. And don't worry, time-sensitive notifications like calendar alerts or specific things that you allow are always designed to punch through any focus summary. So the strategy is allow crucial people and apps to punch through dependent on your focus mode, let time-sensitive items handle emergencies, and then dump everything else, the can-wait stuff, into your scheduled summary. And then the rest of stuff that you never want to see, just silence it forever. And yes, these settings mostly mirror to your Apple Watch, so don't worry, your wrist is not about to become your latest and greatest distraction source. Now, Apple is trying to automate much of this with Apple Intelligence, but let's be honest, folks, it's really early days. Features like AI-powered summaries, which try to condense notifications, are sometimes useful, but frequently screw stuff up to the point where we've seen a lot of memes about it. And then the new priority notifications, which I actually do think is genuinely useful in theory, attempting to surface what it determines to be important notifications to the top of your lock screen, has already pretty much been circumvented by third-party developers, wording their notifications more urgently so as to grab your attention. All of these features, they're opt-in, and as well they should be, because you're going to have to tweak which apps it prioritizes because, frankly, it's just going to get it wrong most of the time, which begs the question, why not just do it manually? But if you were a lazy son of a gun, and worse than just, doing it yourself, I suppose the latest reduce interruptions mode, this is a focus mode added in iOS 18.4, it's better than nothing trying to automate much of this filtering. But look, In the future, these AI tools might get better. They might even become useful, but for right now, you're really just better off doing stuff manually. Remember, focus modes and notification summaries. Spend a couple hours over the course of a week, and you will be able to make a much more reliable system to take control of your existing tech rather than buy more crap to replace something that's not even really going to fix anything. That's not the solution. Make tech work for you, not against you. You feel like you just listened to your dad ramble on for 15 minutes lecturing you about what you didn't do well enough? Good! That was my objective. Now put your phone down, wipe your bum, wash your hands, and go outside and touch grass. I'm proud of you, son. Stay snazzy.